Guest speaker, Ambassador Eunice Kigenye, Deputy High Commissioner of the Ugandan High Commission in Nairobi, co-founder of Mount Kenya University, Dr. Jane Nayuto, members of the University Board of Directors, Chairman, Mount Kenya University Council, Dr. Vincent Gayo, members of the University Council, Vice-Chancellor Professor Deogratius Jaganye, Vice-Chancellors and representatives present from other universities, members of the University Management Board and Senate, distinguished guests, Mount Kenya University staff, parents and guardians, graduands and students, ladies and gentlemen, Hamjambo, good morning. Let me begin my address by saying that I'm so humbled and privileged to be here this morning, especially with such beautiful weather, in this Happy Valley ground here. So this is a happy place this morning, a happy place. For the 26th graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University. First and foremost, before I continue, please allow me to extend a hearty message of greetings from my wife, Justina, who is actually here with me today in the congregation, and maybe she will stand up and wave to you, my wife. You probably noticed that she is African. She is actually from Ghana. And we have actually been married for, she told me yesterday, she reminded me yesterday, for 48 years. 48 years. And we have three grown-up sons. All of them are much taller than me. And they are more than 40 years of age. Again, she will remind me exactly what ages they are, because men often forget the ages of their children. And they also extend greetings to you from various parts of the world. Two of our children live in Australia, and one lives in London, in the UK. So it is a wonderful thing to say. In addition to this, I want to bring my very warm greetings from my home university in Scotland, the University of Scotland. You're probably wondering why I'm dressed like this, which is the national costume of Scotland for men. This is not a lady's dress, this is a men's kilt. It's a very traditional costume in Scotland. And I only wear this on very special occasions. Weddings, anniversaries, and Mount Kenya graduations. So these are the times when I wear this costume. It is very heavy to carry in a suitcase, very heavy. So in terms of the theme for today's graduation, internalization of university education towards development of a competitive global workforce. This is a very appropriate theme for this graduation. And this is so because universities around the world are very similar in some ways to companies, to businesses, especially in the modern time, when resources are scarce. So just like companies, universities need to have a plan and a growth strategy. And this applies to Mount Kenya University as well as my university in Scotland, the University of the West of Scotland. It applies to every university. Every university needs a roadmap for achieving its organizational goals. And in this regard, allow me to congratulate Mount Kenya University, and especially under the leadership of the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Deogratius Jaganye, for the progress that the university has made over the last year. He mentioned the money that has been received for research. 50 million shillings is wonderful, because research is very much part of a university. And what has always impressed me about this university is that it has an emphasis on the three pillars of a university: teaching, research and innovation, and community involvement, particularly community involvement for this university. This university, Mount Kenya University, is renowned for its involvement with the wider community. No longer can universities operate just in an ivory tower detached from society. And we heard one of our speakers earlier from the audience here who mentioned the help that he had been given by this university. This university, Mount Kenya University, does a huge amount of work in the community, for example, working with prisoners in prison and so on. Nobody should be isolated from the opportunity to have higher education, and we should be proud of that achievement of this university. Coming back to the theme, internationalization of university education towards development of a competitive global workforce. Our guest speaker has outlined the details of this wonderfully for us today. This is really about providing capacity in an economy. The economy of Kenya, the economy of the UK, every economy needs a workforce that is capable of producing innovative ideas and technologies for the betterment of society. And that is the case for this university too. When I mention in the UK that I'm Chancellor of Mount Kenya University to Africans that I know there, they immediately recognize Mount Kenya University when I tell them. I say to them, have you heard of Mount Kenya University? They say, of course we have heard of Mount Kenya University, because it is a very well-known university in East Africa and indeed in the whole of the African continent. So I'm happy to note that the university has had continuous and strong growth strategy and has grown rapidly and is one of the most rapidly growing universities in the East African region, and is a hub for manpower development at an international level, as evidenced by the number of international students and alumni across the world. We heard from the Vice-Chancellor earlier that there are no fewer than 7,448 graduands today. And these will be added to the 130,000 alumni of Mount Kenya University. This is quite an amazing number. And I know that the university is now putting resources into developing its alumni network. And let me just say that this is perhaps an area for development across many African universities, which is untapped and is a very important opportunity for a university such as Mount Kenya University to develop further. And I've already advised the university that any advice that my university in Scotland can provide for Mount Kenya University, we will be happy to do so with regard to the alumni process, because in the UK and in America, alumni are very important to universities. So let me stress that for you today. So the growth strategy for a university is not just about quantity. It's about quality. It's the mix between quantity and quality. And this is very important when it comes to reputation. And also in my discussions with people during many visits that I've made to Kenya in the last year in particular, when I meet people and I tell them about Mount Kenya University and I say, do you employ any of the graduates of Mount Kenya University? Everywhere I go, I meet people who employ graduates of Mount Kenya University. And even yesterday we met some people who had employed graduates in very senior positions here in Kenya. So once more I congratulate the university here for a job well done. Just moving on to the next part of my address, it is important when you have a growth strategy to create consortia or partnerships. And this university has created so many in the years that I've been the Chancellor now, which is 7 years. I'm going to mention 3 or 4 of them today, but there are many, many more that could be mentioned. The first of these is the Africa Centre for Career Enhancement and Skills, which brings together 5 African universities, including Mount Kenya University and a German university, Leipzig, a very famous German university, Leipzig University. The second one is the Students Training for Entrepreneurial Promotion on Sustainability, STEP S project, that brings together 3 universities in Africa, including Mount Kenya University and the Leuphana University of Germany. The third example is the International Interdisciplinary Consortium in Africa, which brings together 2 universities in Kenya, MKU, including, of course, MKU, 3 other universities in Uganda, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and 2 European universities, 1 in Poland and 1 in Slovakia. And then the fourth example is the involvement of Mount Kenya University students in the Millennium Fellowship Class of 2024, which is a consortium-driven global forum that sees a team of over 400 universities from over 100 countries across the world demonstrate their diverse capacities in support of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals agenda, which we heard about from our guest speaker earlier. And this fellowship is a global program for undergraduate university students, supported by the United Nations Academic Impact Office in collaboration with the Millennium Campus Network. And so in this regard, I congratulate the MKU students who are members of this Millennium Fellowship Class of 2024. So these are only 4 examples, but there could be many more, but we don't have the time to go and explain them. Finally, of course, a graduation ceremony is about the graduates, the graduands who become graduates. When you are conferred your degree, you become a graduate. At the moment, you're a graduand. You're about to graduate. Later this morning, you'll become a graduate. And it's very important then to congratulate all of you, but also your parents and guardians that are here today to celebrate with you. And I know, having been involved with Africa, in Africa for nearly 50 years, how important education is to the family from where you come. So, dear graduands, remember, in line with the theme of this ceremony, you are well trained to compete globally, and you should feel confident in being able to offer your services anywhere in the world, in Europe, in South America, in North America, and in Asia, and of course in Africa. Don't forget Africa, because we're in Africa. And Africa needs qualified workers, qualified labour to contribute to the economy. And indeed, many of the graduating students, the graduands today, are already coming from different countries in Africa. And this is another remarkable feature of Mount Kenya University, that you've come from different countries. And we thank you for honouring Mount Kenya University in this way by studying here. So finally then, I wish all of you, dear graduands, all the success as you leave Mount Kenya University to go out and serve the people of Kenya and God's people on this earth through your services. May you all achieve great success in your lives. God bless Mount Kenya University. God bless Kenya. God bless Africa. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. And, of course, Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous 2025. Thank you very much. So, before we go on to the conferment of the degrees, I've been asked to announce that we're going to hear from the lady that was introduced earlier, the CEO of Roadstar, Victoria Vass, who's going to come to the podium and say a few words to all of you. Victoria, please.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Mount Kenya University, all of you who believed in me 5 years ago to open a remarkable study work program, and today for 70 students. I know there are a lot of you, and I am so sorry we haven't met earlier, but I think so the bright future for future students and future graduates are open. Thank you in believing and keeping communicating with us. We are Roadstar that do have a work-study program here. Thank you for helping establishing all the process. Special thank you I would like to announce to Dr. Christopher Mutambe, who believed in me all those years. Thank you, Doctor, a lot to you. And my big words to you, students. There's no greater assets in life than education today, and you have it all. You're on a path to becoming the person you have always dreamed of. You have already made significant strides towards turning